Our next speaker is Mr. Girdhar M. Varliani. He is from Encode Solutions, and the topic is protecting transactions and data in virtual world using PKI. Mr. Girdhar Varliani is GM Technical at Encode Solutions, India. He is currently managing PKI data center and involved in project management, operations, business development, software projects, online portals, identity management solutions for large scale environments. I request sir to come.
Good afternoon. I I thank CCA office and CDEC to give us opportunity to share our experience, which can be used by large institutes, especially banks, on what we really have around PKI and how best we can make use of this technology, saving a large cost under this PM's dream project of Digital India. We are based at Ahmedabad. So the Sabarmati River water is such, it makes every Ahmedabadi a businessman. So I will just take this opportunity what we do. We are part of GNFC, which is Gujarat State PSU. We are licensed certifying authority since 2004. Uh, we have large customers where we provide PKI authentication complete solution, and we are also eSign impanel. We have various certification for our data center application software. We are one of the CMMI level 5 company. So few things what is available today is there is this PKI, which is commonly known as digital signature certificates under IT Act. There is eSign solution, and there are PKI enabled applications which your SI or your internal team generally develops to make use of PKI. There is time stamping and OCSP service available for SSL as per new guidelines. Though many of the banks still use foreign CA SSL certificates, I'll be giving some facts and recommendations why you can now start using Indian CA SSL certificates. We also provide some solutions around e-security surveillance, which is CCTV based surveillance for city, and various applications, audit, ERP. We also create data centers. Since morning we have gone through various presentations where basics of PKI is covered. It is always better to know what is coming and be prepared and use technology so that you don't change often the technology which is on its way. But at the same time, you can't keep waiting what is coming, because there will always be something new which will come in the future. So the best time is whatever is available today, make best use of it and implement what is available with the growth plan to what is coming in near future. So in PKI, we have IT Act available. The technology supports for PKI. What I mean is operating system, browsers, devices, they all anyway accept this technology. Over a period with a lot of efforts from CCA office, now there is secure DSC issuance process in place. There is interoperability guideline available which has standardized many PKI enabled applications so that there are minimal changes from time to time, avoiding risk, change management, time to implement anything new. So far it is mostly end user who has been paying for the certificate, and the advantages or benefits have been enjoyed by a relying party. With introduction of eSign, relying party may start paying for the transaction security of end user and safety of their risk. To make this transaction process faster, ECC signature is legally now available in the Act, and you can process transactions which are faster, need lower storage, so the overall cost of transaction per transaction will reduce in the coming time. Relying parties have to enable PKI application and accept data using for authentication. You can use SSL for secure tunnel from server to client communication. Use code signing certificate for downloading any component or software versions. You can store data in a secure way for ease of audit and archival. There is some standard information. Ecosystem for PKI for up to end user exists. Normal certifications are stored in FIPS certified devices. It can be HSM at server level or in crypto token smart card for end users. Most common format used for document storage is PDF. So eSign helps you secure these documents using eSign, and you can also timestamp where the chances of proving anything on a later date becomes very easy, audit point of view or legal point of view. Just to slightly take you to what entities are and with whom you must deal for what. Under the root certifying authority, we have CCA office. There is IT Act, there are guidelines, and they ensure that CS follow complete compliances through regular audits from time to time. There are certifying authorities who have to follow CPS, policy procedures, computing and infrastructure with BCP and continuity by way of DR. They provide business network for you, and they adhere to the regulatory requirement. For issuance of certificate, there is entity called RA, which is Registration Authorities across India, who does identification of subscriber, does registration part, helps him with usage of DSC token, driver support at various applications. And they also follow regulations of IOG and document verification before issuance of any certificate. And others, entities connected to PKI are subscribers, relying parties, technology application service provider, and recently the Aadhaar. Because for eSign, there is huge dependency on Aadhaar to get OTP or biometric based data to process the transaction for bank once you start using eSign services. This is just a summary of few basic things. Many times user or the bank or any agency gets confused what certificate type to use for what purpose and how to go about it. So there are class 0 which are issued for testing, class 1 to sign emails, class 2 and 3 are used for other transactions, where class 3 is more secure. While somebody applied for a certificate, a government official, we sent him class 3 certificate. He called us saying, no, send me class 1, I am class 1 officer. So we had to explain him, no, class 3 is better than class 1, of giving more assurance to the relying party. And there are separate certificates issued for signing and encryption. For SSL also, there are now two different options available. You can have class 2 SSL, which is stored in a soft form. But for security, class 3 SSL can be issued on a HSM device so that there is no risk of any manipulation. And SSL is nowadays provided in India using OCSP service, which helps you ensure that the certificate issued is, the site is correct and there are no frauds. Other special class of certificates are code signing, document signer, and time stamping. There are various usages for various industry. Since you have gone through in detail earlier also for banking, I will just quickly skip them. There are many challenges still in India for India using PKI. We are still at fledgling stage, as since morning we knew that only 13 million certificates are issued over 10-year period. To reach paperless computing, more efforts are required, more regulations have to be changed by various institute, government, financial, to accept paperless documents. Aadhaar has to improve their authentication services where still getting OTP or fingerprint validation sometimes takes time. There are errors, delays. Our root certificate has to get listed in some other browsers. Today it is accepted in IE. There is lack of awareness and fear among some end users. What will happen to my certificate if I lose it, or how do I reissue and where to go about? And low understanding of judiciary process. Some people say, okay, we'll use PKI. What happens if there is fraud? Where do I go? Are judges and police aware what documents are to be collected? How to analyze any fraud happening? So there is a lot of training and skill development required at that level also. There are some basics which the software development or banks as a customer should ensure that their QA team or development team takes care of the PKI enablement in their organization. You have to identify tools, APIs as per platform required, download trust chain and verify thumbprints, identify allowable OIDs. There are different OIDs issued to class 2, 3. So one must know for different usages, you may use class 2 or 3, like depending on high value transaction or low value or documents or financial transactions. Then one must ensure that the whole trust chain is verified by the application. Schedule CRL downloads or thumbprint. Storage of CRLs, like in case of audit and some fraud happening, you must have all the CRLs stored in the system. Otherwise, after 2 years, how do you come to know on 12th of year 2014 what was the CRL status of particular certificate? So, few small guidelines for validating what happens internally in the PKI enablement. You must start upward from end user certificate in chain, validate their thumbprint from level 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1, and validate issuer's name subject in trust chain, validate server time with validate of certificate, not from the client machines, validate certificate revocation using online CRL or OCSP as appropriate or the risk of the transactions being processed. The application architecture should be designed such a way it is flexible and can accept future changes in certificate policy, etc. Segregate modules, programs, data, provide administrative interface, calculative database sizes to store hash and public key or encryption key or any other data for processing transactions. Identify critical requirements, what is to be signed. You need not sign whole file with having 4 pages of text in case you want to. Then appropriate logs and ensure security of them for audit purpose. You must test implementation before going to live setup. There are some best practices which you must consider and follow. Since I said that now DSE issuance is done after a lot of secure process and practices by certifying authority, you can start using email from the certificate. Don't accept email separate and a certificate separate and communicate on the email which is entered by the subscriber. Then you can also take mobile number, which is the most commonly communication device, and verify it with the hash in the certificate. Today, all mobile number hash are stored as part of the certificate field. So you can verify them and ensure that all communication registration happens through the same mobile. You can also validate organization name, which is available in the certificate rather than asking separate organizational name detail and not verifying with the certificate content. And take OCSP or CRL path from the certificate rather than hard coding in application. In case CA is changing the path and you do not download proper CRL, you could be in trouble. Some of the banking have implemented authentication where there is, once the certificates are mapped, they have a maker checker option because still the confidence is not there, and some banks still are overcautious in accepting DSC for their account holders. There are various applications other than banking. You can use DSC for e-procurement, auction, bank, workflow, form signing, citizen application, server-to-server authentication. There are, the way we stand as PKI and the efforts done by CCA, lot of products are available. So there is this ready list for banks, where bank today can act as RA to a certifying authority and issue DSC to at least their own customers. This will reduce the cost of certificate, it will ease the operation, and you will take advantage of issuing fast certificates to your own customers. To help bank from where earlier we used to get complaint that certificate cost is high, IT Act has allowed 3-year certificate so that cost per year and per transaction reduces. So start using 3-year certificates. Use SSL from Indian CA with OCSP service. There are complete authentication solutions available in the market you can use so that there is least changes in your existing application. ECC signature will process transaction faster with lower storage, etc. Use timestamping services which will help you that once the document is signed, it becomes easy to prove what date, what time it was created and signed rather than doubt of whether the same document was changed and re-signed with the same certificate later on. Use e-sign for opening new account, FD, 15G form, etc. Organizational e-sign is now available, which will ease e-sign usage for corporate bank accounts also. You can become associate member of India PKI Forum so that you come to know quicker what is coming in the upcoming time, share your issues better, faster with the PKI fraternity. Thank you.